Hello.
Hey, Christina.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me? These AirPods
Yeah.
be kind of, okay, they be shifty a little bit.
Okay. I can hear you good. I'm at a hotel in Vegas. Pretend like you don't know that.
Woo!
I
Yes.
got the Wi-Fi. Let's just give people a few minutes to get in here. I'm so excited.
Yes, me too. Oh my
This is
goodness. I
gonna
gotta
be fun.
send this live to my parents' child because
I
you know they
know.
don't
I'm
be
like,
knowing
oh,
how to do anything.
yes. Tell all your people. I just got off the phone with my mom. She was like, I'll be on your live.
Yes, there's my aunt right there. See? It's all they already coming.
I love it. I love it.
Yes, yes. Hey, Miss Tracy.
Let's see if I'll put this up a little bit. When I did this, when I was the one that was getting interviewed, my kids like took over the whole interview. So
Honestly, your kids could do a 2020 interview and it
those
just be
those two, oh my gosh,
they're amazing. And they're
they
both
are.
Leos too. Oh my
Yes, they
God.
are. Are you a Leo?
Yes.
Are you? When's your
Yes.
birthday?
August 12th.
Oh, okay. You're a
Mm,
Marley. Marley's in August. She's an August Leo.
really, just
You guys
yeah, I love
are
her.
different. Yes. Yeah.
She's amazing. I love her.
Oh, thank you. Yes, August Leos and July Leos. It's like worlds.
They're very different. Yeah, they are because I think July is so close to Cancer, so they're very like
Yeah,
calm, and then August is like turn up.
yeah. August Leos are a different breed, but you guys are superstars. I'll tell you that.
So thank you.
Yes. Okay. I'll just give people like a couple more minutes, and then
Yeah,
we'll.
no worries. And you're a
It's.
Capricorn, right?
I am.
That's
I.
some Naomi Campbell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Y'all are
am. I
superstars
know.
too, honestly. Y'all be getting down to the business.
We gotta get it done. Yeah, we gotta get.
Hmm.
I know. We got some very crazy qualities about us, but
Y'all are just so, I love how serious y'all are. Y'all like so about, my grandmother's a Capricorn, so
really,
yeah, she don't play. So
yeah.
it's like, I'm like, all right.
I know. I whenever I'm like working with people, I'm like, if I sound bossy, I'm sorry. I don't know how to sound any other way. Let's just give
Right,
it
any other
a
way.
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
It's in me.
yeah. Help it. Okay, let's get started. I feel like there's quite a few people here. So, to start, I think one of the things I love about Layers is they are really big on highlighting Black and Brown artists and putting the spotlight on creatives locally and just from all over. So, just tell us a little bit about yourself, your age, your ethnic background, anything that you want us to know.
Well, hey y'all, I'm Lex. I'm from the Midwest, St. Louis area. I am 30 years old. I'll be 31 in August. And I've been doing photography for about 5 years. I've been creative directing, styling, all that for about 10, 11 years. I'm trying to, and I came here to Seattle, like Washington in general, because I was stationed here. I was stationed here through the Navy. Then I got out after spending about 4.5, 5 years in the military, and then just went from there. Like I started taking odd jobs. I worked at LensCrafters, Nordstrom, everywhere. And then I got a job at where I currently work at, a corporate job. And from there I was just like, you know what? Like my creativity, I haven't been creative since before I got into the military. And I feel like I need to like kind of branch out and, just be, meet new people too. Cause I didn't know about really anybody here, and I have been here for so long. So I was like, let me get into this creative community. So that's when I started photography. So yeah, like that's me.
That's crazy. I didn't know that's how you ended up in Seattle. Yes,
Yeah.
when I talked to you when I first interviewed you for the Feels in person, I was like, I need to talk to her more. There's so much more in there, and like
Yeah.
when you were speaking, you really like I could just feel there was so much depth to like everything you had to say. I was like, I want to talk to her again. But
Yes, I love it.
I had no idea. I had no idea that's how you ended up in Seattle. That's amazing. I always
Hmm.
tell people like when the creative is in you, it's gonna come
Hmm.
out. It's gonna get louder and louder and louder until you just can't ignore it. You can go work all kinds of jobs.
Absolutely.
It will find you.
Yes, absolutely. 100%.
Um, so then my next question is when did you know that photography was like your outlet? When did you know that that was the thing that served you and that was the way that you were going to express yourself?
I knew about 2 years into me shooting, I was like, just like, because at first I just started this as a hobby and I just love film photography so much and I love film so much that I was like, I don't care what I make of this. I'm just going to, photograph the sea or photograph a car or whatever else like that. So 2 years into it, I had a pretty like decent following and then also like um, creating things that I wanted to see. That is when I was like, oh wow, like this is for me. This is something that I could actually like graduate to, the next level. When I started mingling with different people, when I started just gelling with different photographers, and also when I started just like photographing for fun and just like having fun with it and like not putting an expectation or an end result on it. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make this happen, and it happened. And so when most of those ideas that I had were brought to fruition, and I was like, oh my gosh, like dang, like I'm pretty good, So
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
kind of was like, oh, let me just continue on. And so I just did everything with intention and like just the intention to create and the intention to just be myself and be my authentic self, and I can be my authentic self while photographing. So I feel like that is when it clicked in my head, like I was like, okay, this might be
Mm-hmm.
something that I need to be doing, like, so absolutely. And especially when I started getting into like places in my life where I was just like in a dark space, and I would just be like, oh, I just don't feel like creating, I don't feel like doing it. Like I feel like God was like, no, like
Yeah.
create, like just photograph, just girl, just go out and photograph. And when I get those type of messages and those downloads from God, from the universe, whatever, like I literally just am like, okay, like this is what's meant for me, and this is what I need to start being more proactive in this. And so yeah, that's about how I tuned into that, tapped into that.
That's amazing. Yeah, it's always crazy because it's like when there is no expectation and when you don't have to put a cost on your work and you're just creating because you want to create, like that's when the best work comes out because like you can truly be your authentic self. And then it's like when you make it your career, you have to figure out a way to put a value on that thing that feels so good when you do it when there is no value on it, you know?
Absolutely, yeah.
Are you a do you just do photography full time now?
No, I'm still at the corporate job, still at that
Yeah.
9 to 5. When I'm kind of like I need to probably take a risk, but I'm nervous about leaving my job. I've been at Amazon for 6 years, almost 6 years. It'll be 6 years this year, and I'm just kind of like, ooh, I don't know. But yeah, I also enjoy doing my job there as well. I work in diversity and inclusion there,
Yeah.
and just create events and stuff. Uh, Alongside of the Black Employee Network and everything, and every affinity group within Amazon, like Glamazon, which is like the LGBT community, everything else like that. So I enjoy my job there, but the little risk, you got to kind of risk reward, you know what I mean? So
Exactly.
I'm
Exactly. But
still
you'll
there.
know.
Yeah, for sure. Exactly. I
Yeah, you'll know
exactly.
when it's time. It'll get so loud you won't be able to ignore it. And that balance
Yes.
of doing your creative work and working stability and working a normal job like that it takes a different type of person to be able to do that every
Listen.
day. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really like the thing is with having a full-time job, I kind of had to like, short story, I kind of had to like pull myself back,
Mhm.
from working myself to death, because I almost did that. Like, back in 2019, I was working 12-hour shifts, ripping and running. Then on the weekends, I was for photograph. I had like 3 to 4 photo shoots a weekend. It was a span of 2 days. So I'm doing all of this for about 6 months straight. And one day I got like a really bad migraine, and I was just like, oh, it's a migraine, whatever. I'll just you know, take some medicine, whatever. It lasted for 8 days. I had to go to the hospital. And long story short, the doctor came in and he was like, you need to sit down. Like, this is stress, and this stress is going to kill you, to the point, because to the point I couldn't even walk. I couldn't even like ingest food. Like, it was really bad. And so they ran a whole bunch of tests because I was like so worried, and they were like, no, like, this is just stress. Like, your cortisol levels are up through the roof. Like, you need to sit down. So that's when I decided to take 3 months off of photography and like tell my job, like, hey, I cannot take this load, all this on me.
Mm-hmm.
Can you give these things to somebody else so that I can have time for myself? I took like a month off of work. Like, it was like a big thing for me. So that I had to learn that work balance between your passion and between, you know, your actual job. So like, yeah.
Yeah, I could relate to that. I feel like I was one of those people. Sometimes I think about it now and I feel so bad because I was one of those people that pushed, like, by any means necessary, work on your passion all night long. Don't go to sleep. Who cares? Just wake up.
Right.
Stay up all night. Get it done. Find a way.
Mm-hmm.
But I've learned over the last few years, like, the value in taking care of yourself, and like,
Yes.
what cares your art if you're not your full self creating? So I definitely
100%
for that, and being aware
mm-hmm.
of that.
Mm-hmm.
It's so important. Rest is so important. What kind of things do you like to photograph? Like, what is like your dream shoot, and why do you like to photograph those things?
I love photographing Black people. It don't matter, like, women, men, kids, love photographing Black people. If people take a look at my page, that's kind of the main thing that's like centered is Black, especially Black women. I feel like Black people are so beautiful. We are just like amazing in our art, but in an art form that is on photograph, like, you can't beat that. Honestly, it's so rewarding, and honestly, it's rewarding that to work with people that look like me. You know what I'm saying? It's so rewarding to work with people that look like me. To like just even like the people I hire, like creative directors or assistants, like has to be like Black people. You know what I'm saying? I love just working in general with Black people. My dream shoot, Pharrell and Solange. Honestly, I would love to shoot Pharrell. Like, I've been a Pharrell fan since 1999. So I literally have been like super fan, like a Solange fan since like 2009. I absolutely love them, and I love what they do. I love that both of them don't put themselves in a box. They don't put themselves to one thing. Like, Pharrell's not just a producer, you know, Solange just not a singing artist. They do so many other things, and I think that's inspired me to kind of think outside the box with my work. But my dream shoot is shooting Black people, and like just, you know, engaging with, you know, Black people is so amazing because we're just so multifaceted. And I think that like we need to be in these publications more. We need to be in these spaces more. Photographers, art, whatever. Like, we need to be in these spaces more. So I make it a point all the time to be like, okay, like, you know, that whole like, is that person Black? Okay,
yeah,
yeah, I'm gonna work, you know,
count me in. Yeah,
exactly. My job be knowing. I'll be like, is that person okay?
Yes.
I was like, all right.
No, I get it. And like, what I love about your work and what really speaks to me about your work is I really I really love to see the way that you express Black people doing normal things. I feel like so many times, like, for Black people to be appreciated in an artistic way, it has to be hardship, it has to be sadness, it has to be the challenges. And to see the way that you're able to express like everyday life things, like, we like to do these things too. Black joy is beautiful too. And
period.
I love that you do that, and I love that you use your work to highlight Black people, because
thank you.
Black stories are so important. And
thank you. Yes,
it's amazing. So as a creative, one thing that I really believe in that has helped me a lot is like having your thing that you do and having like a few other creative outlets that you don't have as much expectation on, not as much pressure, to kind of keep a balance and allow you to to put your best self into your main passion. Do you have any other creative outlets that you turn to when you're like stuck, or lacking inspiration, what kind of things do you go to get back into that space to create?
Girl, I be doing a lot. Honestly, I started off. What's funny is I started off as a musician. So if my parents are in there, they'll vouch. Like they literally, like I used to, ever since I was 9, I was singing everywhere, everything, everywhere. My parents was like, "Girl, shut up," like
Yeah.
all the time. But like, I and I played instruments, and I also like to produce. I like to write music. I like to I have like a SP505 that I play on sometimes. It's like a little beat mixer. Like I, put my headphones on and I like just
Yeah.
make random lo-fi beats on that. Or like I love homewares. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm in the process of making like this cool like end table made out of like Sprite bottles, like glass Sprite bottles. But I just really like I just doing that because I'm like, hey, I'm stuck in photography. I'm stuck in this. Let me pull some, let me work on this. I used to do a lot of resin art too. So whatever I get my hands on, like
Yeah.
honestly, I'll just go and do it, or I'll learn it. I want to learn crochet next. I heard crocheting is like super like, stress ridden, and it really calms, people. And so I'm like, yeah, I would love to like just learn how to crochet. But anything I
Yeah.
pick up, usually it's music. Usually it's making home goods and furniture, for my home and things like that. When my friends come over, they're like, "Girl, where'd you get this from?" I'm like, "Oh, I made
Yeah.
that, child." I was like, "I made that.
That's
It's
the
all good."
best.
Yeah,
Yes.
for
Being able to
sure.
say you made it. That's the best feeling.
Yes, yes, for sure.
Um, what what do you feel like are your biggest challenges that you face creatively, and what do you do to overcome them?
Ooh. Self-deprecation,
Yeah.
like, and just like beating myself up. I have learned throughout last year and part of this year to be kinder to myself and to give myself more grace and give myself more agility. I think that like we are the whole quote, "We are our biggest critics," that is extremely true. I used to get myself into dark places where I'm just like, I can't do it. Like I'm not good enough. And how I pull myself out of that is now if I get myself in that mental space, I get myself up wherever I'm at, bed and couch, whatever, and I go to my mirror and I say, that stuff is not true. Your feelings are valid, but not fact.
Hmm.
And I feel like that has changed my whole like trajectory on how I am an artist. And also just like, people can be very critical as well of your work. And so when you surround yourself with the wrong people, I think that also attributes to like, your creative space too. There's a point in time for a minute when I first started photography that I was surrounded by people that weren't really serving me and that were just like, there. And I feel like that kind of took a toll on me. And so when I shifted that and got into the space where people really like were cheering for me in my corner, and I'm doing the same for them, and like exchanging, creative ideas, and people that were more like-minded than me, that's when I was like, okay, like I really can do this. Like this is not, something that I should be sabotaging myself about. And I
Yeah.
think that self-sabotage really gets people. Like it really got me for a minute. And I was just like, I thought about quitting photography, everything. I was like, I don't even want to do it all, any of this. And I just was like, picked myself up and like yanked myself out of that. Because if I didn't, I wouldn't be where I'm at now. If I didn't, I'd probably be in that same negative mindset and then bringing that negativity to other spaces and other people. And even for a while, I was the negative Nancy, the negative person. And I saw how it affected people that were around me. And I literally, like, when I saw that, I was like, oh, this is manifesting itself in my outer life, and I need to, like, cut it out. So,
Definitely.
absolutely the biggest challenge.
Definitely. And I think too, if you know that you are doing God's work and that you're doing something that's so deeply rooted in just who you are as a person, you got to be able to just take the good the same way you take the bad. Like just let it roll off of you because you're doing this because you're supposed to. And like just keep
Yes.
that at the front of your mind and just know that like you creating is so much bigger than anyone's opinion, bigger than your opinion of yourself. Like, you gotta just keep going, and also, you know, be mindful of like continuing to document your journey through those phases will always come and go, you know. And so I always tell people, like, it's important to know what your work looked like when you were feeling like that too.
1000%. And my work was very, when I was feeling like that, my work was so, I've archived a lot of that, but you
Yeah.
know, just very
Yeah.
somber.
Yeah.
It was very somber, and I wanted everybody to be sad, and I wanted, like, it was like, when you feel something, and if you're creative, it's going to come out in your art.
Definitely.
And so I was very more black and white. I was very, like, you know, I was telling models, like, cry, like, act like you're sad, but it was a manifestation of how I was feeling. I was like, well, I'm sad, I'm angry, you gonna be angry at this photo shoot, and I'm gonna shoot, you know, photographs of being angry. Yeah. And I just was like, after that, I got out of that funk. It's good to self-review. I literally reviewed all the stuff that I was like, in that time when I was feeling, I reviewed all my photos from there, and I was like, wow, like, you could definitely see my sadness, you can see my anger, you can see like me being just, you know, the self-sabotage as well, like, you can see all of that, you know. So now I just don't, like, I stopped putting myself in that space, and I was like, okay, Lex, you gotta, like, make a mood board that's happy. You gotta make a mood board that's, you know, create what you want to do, what you want to shoot, you know, Vogue. Make it like, make a mood board, like, as if you are working for Vogue, and as if that's your goal, and photograph that. And that's how I kind of just got myself out of that as well. It's just like, you could see people's art and how they're feeling through their art, and definitely. I didn't want to be that artist that was like, oh, she always mad, she always sad, what's going on, like, you know what I mean?
Yes,
I don't want to be that.
Definitely know about archiving the sad work. I've been there for sure. Okay, so now I'm gonna ask you some rapid fire questions. We'll lighten the mood a little bit.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so first, what's your favorite album of all time?
Oh my goodness.
I couldn't answer this one, so.
Shoot, bro. I'm gonna say Common's B album. I always listen to that. I'm always like, my mom is in here now. She used to be like, why are you playing that album out? Okay, when it first dropped, it was like, what, 2005, and I was like a freshman in high school, and my mom was like, enough.
That's like, so funny.
That and Kanye West Graduation, like, I feel like I resonate with B so much, and I resonate, especially them being whoever said this your world, that's my jam. Hey, mom. But literally, I literally I resonate with, like, Graduation and B so much, because it's like, first of all, they're two artists from the Midwest. Mm-hmm. Gotta love that. And also, just like, it's like the way they're speaking, like, Common is just going through, like, the B album was very, like, the B album is very, like, transformative for Common. I felt like that was his transformation album. I felt the same way for Graduation. And I'm like, okay, like, this is my transfer. Like, you know, when I'm feeling transformative, I always put on B. I always put on Graduation. So those are, like, the top two albums. That is Solange's, what is it? Seat at the Table. Yeah. Oh yeah. It's like an honorable
album, definitely. Mm-hmm. Okay, your go-to restaurant in Seattle.
Again, oh my goodness. My go-to restaurant, I'm gonna say, I just was there. Momiji. Yeah, Momiji. It's like M-O. Yeah, it's like a sushi restaurant.
Really?
And
where's it at?
Yes, there's one in South Lake Union, and there's one in Cap Hill, I think. I think there's one in International District too.
Okay.
Yes. I literally, my sister, we love Solange. Yes, girl. Yeah, love that. Love sushi. I love raw fish. Sometimes my friends be like, what? I'm like, yeah, I love it.
Yeah, I'm talking about the August Leos, Marley. Mm-hmm. She's right there with you.
Yes.
Okay, if you could live anywhere in the world, where would it be?
I would say probably Kauai Island, Hawaii. Nice. Just because of how I went to Hawaii, been Hawaii once and I literally can't get it out of my mind ever since. The peace that it brought me, the weather, just like the overall community of people, of how they like loved each other, the local restaurants. We were always going to local restaurants because there's so many. It's just I just love Hawaii. I love the peace it brings me. I love like
Yeah.
just I could just sit on the beach and just like, you know, meditate, or I could sit on the beach and I can just, you know, reflect. And I just really I love Hawaii. Like I always tell my parents and my sister, I'm like always like, yeah, I'm gonna have a farm in Hawaii, y'all. So be prepared to visit me.
Manifest it.
Yes.
Okay, if you could swap lives with someone for one day, who would it be?
Pharrell, easily. Pharrell.
Nice.
Honestly, yes.
Yeah,
I
that
want to
was
see how his
amazing.
brain works.
Yeah.
Honestly.
I love that. Okay, you might have already answered this, but who is your favorite artist? Any kind of artist?
Ooh, I must say, Kahende is up there. Solange is pretty up there. Yeah, these are
Hmm.
so like, of course, Pharrell. Rihanna has been again a huge inspiration for me, especially with fashion. Oh my
Hmm.
God, I love her. So yeah, I definitely Rihanna. Yeah,
Same.
definitely Rihanna.
It's like ridiculous how many Rihanna illustrations I have in my sketchbook.
Your
Yeah.
recent one was so good. I was like,
Thank
oh my
you.
God, I love
Thank
that.
you.
She needs to
Thank-
see that
I
and buy the original.
I know
Yeah.
so many people were writing me like, if Rihanna doesn't want it, I do.
No,
But
seriously.
she's definitely, I definitely feel like Rihanna is a big inspiration for a lot of women.
Hmm.
Do you have a favorite quote?
Ooh. My dad's in here, but my dad has always told me, he's always said, I'm gonna take one for my mom and take one for my dad. My mom has always said, don't sell yourself short. And my
Mm-hmm.
dad has always told me when it comes to friends or anybody in your life, it's better to have 4 quarters than 100 pennies. And so I apply that to literally everything. Like I like work, everything. It's like, okay, like the risk reward type conversation. You know what I'm saying? Like you're gonna risk it for a real friend or a real, you know, a real passion, or you want to do it for other reasons that are not for you, basically. So yeah, those are, hey mom and dad, I know y'all in
Yeah,
here.
those are good ones. Really good ones.
Yeah, yes.
Um, and then last question, do you have a current favorite TV show?
Ooh. Current. I think right now I've been binging Girlfriends. I
Oh yeah.
love me some Girlfriends. Yes, I've watched that. Listen, I watched them seasons for a thousand times. But I will say Bel Air too. Bel Air is a really good
Yeah.
like the take on. I thought it was gonna be. I'm sorry. I thought it wasn't gonna be like, you know how spinoffs are. You're like they're just not the same.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, this is good. This is good. I'm thoroughly entertained. So
Yeah.
yeah, I love Bel Air. Yeah,
I
I
have
definitely be
watched
catching
that
up.
one. Yeah, I do. I
Mhm.
like it too. I do like it too.
Mhm.
Uh,
Yeah, it's awesome.
okay, so we are at time, but let's just see if anybody has any questions. Just type your questions. I feel like we can take like one or two.
Mhm.
Also, we both have our moms in here. Speaking of my mom, if you want to learn how to
Yeah.
crochet, my mom is in here, and she is the
Hey
crochet
girl.
queen.
Period. Yes, I need to take my dad talking about Bel Air fire.
Yeah.
LOL. My friend Lloyd, he was like, I'm gonna prepare these questions for you. I'm like, yeah, fire him out. You know,
Yeah.
I don't know if he in here
Yeah.
still, but yeah.
Yeah, I feel like we could take one or two. I'll give like a couple of minutes and see if anybody writes any. Is there anything else that you want people to know about you or your work?
Right now I'm kind of focusing on, oh shit, I'm crocheting right now.
Told you.
Period,
I
sis.
told you.
Right
The
now I
crochet
really,
queen.
yes, period. I right now I'm focusing on, well, I am focused on photography, but I'm focusing more on like just like more concentrated projects and like more like high fashion projects. I really want to get into that. Like, you know, I feel like I'm ready to shoot campaigns and like ready to shoot like whatever. But like also I'm really big into writing scripts and filmmaking.
That's very cool.
Yes. So I got like a Bolex film camera that I'm like learning how to use. I'm, learning everything, writing. I'm writing 2 scripts right now, and I'm just so excited. Yeah, that's what I'm
That's
doing now.
amazing. Yeah, I
Thank
wouldn't even
you.
know how to even start to write a script. I'm always fascinated by people that can do that. I think that that is just, it's great.
It's a process. Somebody
Yeah.
asked, how do you
Okay. Yeah. How do you overcome artistic blocks?
Oh man. Sometimes you really just have to feel your feelings. Most of the time you really have to feel like I used to ignore my feelings a lot. I used to be like, whatever, I'll feel that later. No, feel it now. Like feel it now and really dive deep into yourself and ask yourself like, what is blocking me from being my best self? What is blocking me from the best version of my career, my life path that what is blocking me from that? And you'll find the answer. And I've journaled as well. So when I have a block, I'm writing everything. I don't care if my writing looks crazy. I don't care. Like I'm writing everything down. And so usually that kind of like brings me out of that block somewhat, but definitely just like asking yourself. And I know it's so hard for us to ask ourselves questions. I
Mm-hmm.
think that like, it's so hard to ask ourselves questions. Like, so I always ask myself like, okay, Lex, what do you need to lighten the load? Do you need to take a break? What do you need to do to order to unlock that block and get out of that? So yeah, definitely asking yourself questions and just going outside, take a
Yeah.
walk, swim, like move your body also. And that's like what helped me too with creative blocks, when I move my body and then it's like a little light bulb above my head. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, I got an idea.
Yeah.
Lloyd, there's Lloyd right there. I knew it.
Okay, so this will be our last one. How do you see your work evolving as you grow as a person? Or often depicts ourself in physical form. That's a very good question.
Such a good question, Lloyd. Thank you. So how, oh, I see my work evolving, like I was saying, in filmmaking. I see my work evolving more on like, I'm editorial, but like more deep into that editorial bag, more deep into that fashion bag. I see my work evolving, yeah, in writing and filmmaking, even in like, in homeware, like whenever the universe and God want me to do that, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like I'll do it. But I see my work evolving in so many different places and having, again, not putting myself in a box. And I'm, want to be, 40 years old and being like, I have so many different facets that I could dip into. Like, I have, farming, filmmaking, photography, wherever. So I think my art is just going to like evolve into, what is purposeful for me and what is purposeful for my path. So I hope that answers your question.
Amazing. Well, I mean, you're preparing yourself for it like it's happening for you right now, and I think that that's like very key and just knowing that those things will happen for you. Well, it was so good talking to you. I knew I wanted to talk to you more. This was very so fun. Yeah, you have a lot of people that are rooting for you. People love your work. I hear it, I see it, and I think what you do is amazing, and I'm glad
you
we're able to talk.
Yes, me too. What you're doing is amazing, and keep on doing what you're doing, Cristina. Honestly, you've inspired me in so many ways. Like you inspire me. Like I'd be reading your captions sometimes. I'd be like, tissue, like, because you just are so authentic, and you're also inspiration for me to be my authentic self and just be who I am and who I am to be. You know what I mean? So I
thank you so much.
Thank you. Oh, I love you too, Mom.
If you need anything, reach out. I mean, we're in the same city, so definitely should do something.
Let me shoot your portrait sometime. Shoot in the studio, just doing stuff in the studio. I got you.
Definitely. All right. Well, this was fun, and we will do more of these. I think we're doing one once a month. So
awesome.
Everyone watching, look out for more of the Layers series. And again, thank you. Thank you for your time. And I know I will talk to you again soon.
Yes, absolutely. Have a good time in Vegas, girl.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.